In this video, we are going to create a program based on an algorithm. The first thing is, let's look at the problem. The problem says create an algorithm called addition AB that takes two numbers as arguments A and B, and it returns their sum. Very simple algorithm. Let's try to write the code. So the first thing we are going to do, as usual, is the keyword start. Then we know that the algorithm takes the two parameters A and B, and it has to return the sum. So what we can do, we can declare a variable here. Let's say sum, and sum is just A plus B, and then we are going to return the value of sum. Very simple algorithm, and the last line is end. Now let's test this one too to see if it works. So I'm going to say, let's say the call, or we call the algorithm with addition, let's say 5 and negative 10. Let's say here, when I call addition 5 and negative 10, A becomes 5 and B becomes negative 10. And then the next line says sum is A plus B, so sum is going to be equal to A plus B is 5 plus minus 10, which is minus 5. And then it says return sum, which is going to return negative 5, which is the correct answer. So let's go ahead now in thunkable and write the code. Okay, now we are going to thunkable. We are going to start a new project. Let's call it addition. And again, the category, it's optional. It's up to you. We just click on create. Now, if you look at our algorithm here, we are going to define a variable called sum, and we need to take two inputs, A and B. Remember, the heading of the algorithm is addition AB. So we need two inputs, and the two inputs are going to come from the user that is using the app. So we have to take those two numbers, and then you have to add them, and then you have to return them. The return in this case is to display the sum. So how we are going to accomplish this one? First, we need to take two inputs. The inputs in thunkable is coming from the text box that the user enters the numbers. So the text box is under the user interfaces. So left click on the text box, text input, and just drag and drop it on the screen. You will see a text box right here. We need another one for B, so we drag and drop another one, and then we need a button so that when the user enters the numbers, he can click on the button to see the result. Now, you can see that the button goes on the top because every time you drag and drop a text box on the screen, it starts from the bottom and it goes up. To move the bottom down, you just go on the left and drag and drop this one down. You can see that the button comes underneath these two text boxes. Now, it doesn't matter which text box is the first one or the second one. We can assume the first one is A, the second one is B. Now, if you look at the first one, which I just click on it, you can see a name here, text input 2. I really don't like this name. I want to assign a name which I can use in my program. So I'm going to call this one A, meaning the first input. So I'm going to erase this one and make it A. And you can see nothing changed. It's just the name that I can refer to it in my program is changed to A. The second one, the same way. I click on the second one, and then I click on this pen to rename it, and I'm going to call it B. So this one, the first one becomes A, the second one becomes B. Now, the first one, it says type here. This is the hint. Let's just write A. So the user knows that this number that he inputs is going to be assigned to A. The same thing for the second one. Let's change the hint to B. So this is going to be A, this is B. Remember, these hints are not the value. They are just going to appear over there for the user to know that this is the value for A and this is the value for B. The button, let's change the name that appears on the button to submit. If you click on it, these are the properties. You can see the text here says text. Let's change this one to submit. And that's it. That's our design. So now I can write my code based on the algorithm to see if it works. Again, if you go back to the algorithm says the variable sum is equal to A plus B, and then return sum. But in our case, return, I'm going to display the sum. The last thing that we have to do here is somehow we have to display the sum of A and B to the user. To do that one, we need another block called alert. Alert takes an input from the user and then it displays it on the screen. So I'm going to say alert in the components, and you can see alert here. So I can drag and drop alert on the screen, but you can see that the design is not changed. The reason is that the alert is invisible component. It stays behind the scene. If you want to use it in the program, then it's going to take action. Now, we are done with the design of the screen. What we have to do is to start writing the code based on our algorithm. So we're going to go to the blocks. If you look at the algorithm, the first line says sum is equal to A plus B. So we have to create a new variable in our code. To do that one, I'm going to go to variables folder here, and I'm going to say initialize. This is the way that we create variables. Any variable that you create has to have a name. Our variable is going to have the name sum, and initially we have to set the value of the variable. So I go to math here, and I click on math, and then I drag and drop 0 here. This number can be any number. Let's say we set it to -10. It doesn't change anything, because later on we're going to set the value of sum to A plus B. Now, when the user clicks on the button, so I need button 1 here, and I need this block which says click. So when the user clicks on button 1, I want to add A and B and put it in sum. How do you set the variables? Again, you go to variables, and you see the one block says set, and the name is a sum to a variable, to a value. So I'm going to drag and drop this one here. The value is A plus B, those two text boxes. How do you add the values? I go to math now, the math block. You can see the block which says addition. So I'm going to drag and drop here. Now these are the places that I'm going to put the values of A and B. How do I get the value of A from the text box A? I go to text box A here on the left, I click on it, and look at the socket here. This means that I can select anything which looks like this at the beginning. I want the value of text box A, and the value is the text property of the text box. And you can see it says from A get text. So I'm going to drag and drop this one right here. This is going to go in the first socket. Now, to get the value for B, I can do it two ways. I can click on B and I can get this one down, or I'm going to make a shortcut. I'm going to right click on this one because these text boxes are the same components. So the duplication works. I'm just going to put it here and then I'm going to change the name to B. So either way, it's going to get the value entered by a user. Now I have the sum set to value of A plus B. Now I have to use the alert block to display sum. To do this one, the first thing you always do with alert is to set the message. Now, I want to set the message of the alert one. So this is the one which says from alert one set message. So I'm going to drag and drop this one here. The message is the value of sum. How do I get the value of sum? Again, I go to the variables. Again, look at the socket here. I need something like this one. And you can see it's application sum. This is the application variable. So I'm going to drag and drop this one right here. Now I'm going to use the alert component. So I go back to alert, and this time I want to show the message that I just set here. So I'm going to drag and drop this block right here. Okay? And that's about it. We are done. So if I go back to the design and I click on preview, this is my design. These are the text boxes. Let's say I entered 1 and 2. So it has to return 1 plus 2, which is 3. If I click submit, you can see the answer is 3. I have the choice of confirm or cancel, which doesn't do anything. Both of them are going to return back to the design screen. For instance, here, I can change this one to -10 and this one to, let's say, -1. The answer has to be -11. You can see it's -11. Now, while we are here, let's talk about how I can make these two buttons to be only one button, which says OK. To do that one, we go to the design screen and we pick the alert component. So click on alert. Now, here on the properties menu, go down, you will see two text boxes, confirm and cancel. If you want to have only one, let's say I want, instead of confirm, to be OK, and I don't want cancel anymore, so I just erase it. This is going to show an alert box with only one button. If I go to preview, let's try it. Let's say this time I'm going to say 1 plus 5. If you click on it, you will see it says 6 and then OK, and that's it. The other thing is that our alert doesn't have any title on it. How I can change the title on alert is very easy. Go to edit, click on alert again, and go on the top and it says title. Let's change it to addition. Okay, now if I say preview again, if I type 1 and 1, you see it changed it to addition, and then the sum is going to be 2.